Hey everyone, welcome to my workbench. So I finished up my little portable here. I had to end up and I had to do two things. The original converter I had here, which is for charging, was just getting too hot and I was getting low voltage indications. So I went back to the original circuit, which came with the lithium pack, and I had to end up going and adding an additional boost circuit to the Pi, because I kept on getting low voltage warnings. But you could see the screen is a beautiful screen. It's only a 600 vertical resolution, but since it's only a 7-inch screen, it's not a huge deal. I am outputting 1080 to the screen itself. It's really sharp. So the features I do have, I'll show you in a second once this is done. I happen to play games I own, so I don't get any weird copyright stuff here. So you can see it's got the speakers aren't even up all the way. It's a kind of a neat display because there's built-in stereo speakers right behind there, and it transmits through the screen pretty darn well. Yeah, so I really want a nice, big, and chunky joystick as opposed to a gamepad. Though I do have the gamepads with it, wireless ones I can use with it. As you can see, its screen's nice and responsive. The joystick's nice and responsive. So how it's laid out is you have A, B, X, Y. Then here I have, this is select, start, R1, R2, L1, L2. And then on this side I have the on-off switch. And then there's a nice 4-port USB here. And what allows me to put in these little dongles that go with my little wireless controllers. This is the HDMI out, which parallels the screen. So whatever you play on here is going to show on the HDMI out, and this is of course the micro USB for the charging. The vinyl didn't really turn out the way I liked, so I just ended up doing it here and nowhere else. So I just have to go through later and get some of the stickies off of it. That hole on the bottom there was originally for the for adjusting the voltage, but it's no longer in use. But you could see through the case how much battery charge is left. So it's, if you've never used a RetroPie, it's kind of nice. It's a Raspberry Pi with a operating system built just for playing games. Lynx, I own a lot of games. So you can load up, you install the system on an SD card, and then it automatically expands the file system for you, and then you can just put all your ROMs in the appropriate folders. This is a fun game, Gates' on account. Graphics look a little chunky because this was originally for a 3.5-inch screen, but I find it interesting. Lynx used like a 16 by 10 or a 16 by 8. I forget what the proportions were. They actually used a wide screen. See, there's actually not a lot of dead screen on the side there. Lynx was kind of cool because you could play it lefty if you wanted to. Oh, I lost my shield. It's a nice little side scroller. So yeah, that's the. So it all works out pretty well. Oh, hard driving. I hated that game. Great version of Clax. Played vertically though. A little awkward on here. Yeah, so I've got, I think, about 36,000 games on here or something like that loaded up. I'm only going to show games I actually own. It means this is a game I played a lot when I was a kid. This is Wonder Boy Monsterland, and for the Sega Master System, we didn't have a Nintendo. Let's see how I play. I'm actually used to playing this game on a pad, so it's a little different playing with the joystick. But you can see the screen is actually really sharp. I'm very happy with it. It's actually a touch screen, but I don't have that feature hooked up right now. Colors are really nice. I can't remember. It was like, I think, about 70 for this screen. Somewhere in there. So I'm trying to think how much this whole project cost me in the end. It's like 40 something for the Pi. Then the joystick was like 20 with the buttons and controller. It wasn't that expensive. The LiPo pack was about 15. The enclosure was not cheap. And then the USB hub. Maybe I'll get some shoes. Come on, give me 2 coins. There we go. So yeah, this is a. I always liked about this game, you actually bought things with the coins you collected. I find interesting is this version of the Master System emulator has the Yamaha music enabled, which was an add-on I actually did for my brother's Master System. Oops. Oopsie doodles. Get out of the lava. I'm not playing well. Really? This stage of the game? Wow. I am not doing well. Alright, so yeah, it works pretty well. It's been real happy with the screen. So I think this whole thing cost me probably close to 200 bucks, I would guess, for everything. Maybe not quite that much, but over 100, I know that. The screen itself was like 70, and I think the enclosure was 30. So there's 100 right there. There's 100, another 45. So it's 145 with the Pi, plus another, I think, let's call it 20 for the joystick. 145, 165, 170. Yeah, probably around 200. to do a project like this. I suppose you might be able to make a solderless version, but I don't know. It seems like it'd be a little bit of a pain. And since I know how to solder, why bother? So yeah, this turned out real nice. Have a nice, oh, and I bought a new SD card for it too. So yeah, it all adds up. It's kind of nice that the I don't have those annoying voltage warnings anymore. So I'll go through and I'll just I got a little cleaning up on this case. There's like some tape left over on it, and then just clean up a little bit, take off the stupid labels, and then add my own stupid labels, some identifiers on here. So that's it for this project. This is getting put away, and then I have a warranty repair coming in the next day or two. I haven't seen, it hasn't arrived yet. I just have the these little things. What the heck are these things? I saw it in the video. I gotta watch the video one time more, see what the heck this is. This side up. What's it say? Oh, it's just an RGB. Okay. Red, green, blue, and sync and ground. Yeah, so there's so I get that screen I'm replacing it with is going to use RGB input, so I need to pick off RGB, red, green, blue, and then the sync. In case you ever want to know how composite or even RGB signals work, is the way old CRTs would work is they would draw electron beam across the very rapidly draw an electron beam across phosphors on a screen, and what you do is the best possible quality you can get would be if you use what's known as RGB, which means you have the separate red, green, and blue channels. So you have actually 3 electron beams sweeping across, hitting the phosphors as it's swept down from the top to bottom. And of course, the sync line is the synchronized when. So when you hit the bottom of the, you're drawing, then you're supposed to have a sync that brings it back to the top, and draw, then sync back to the top. So every 60th of a second, actually, yeah, it was every 60th of a second, it would come down, hit the bottom, you'd see your sync signal, and it tells the TV, oh, go back to the top, and then that's what those are the old interlaced signals where you'd have, it would draw half the frame, sync, and then draw the other half of the frame. And because the phosphors actually took time to darken, just the fact that they stayed glowing for an instant, for that 30th of a second, when it came back up, it would stay lit. So you'd have every other line, it's 512 lines, and every other line would get filled. Actually, it's 512 horizontal, 480 vertical. So half of them would be drawn out, every 240 would be written out, and another 240 would be, the other line would be written out. It's kind of wild how it worked. It's amazing to work using the technology at the time. Anyway, all that's gone away with HDMI. Actually, HDMI is a modern descendant of it, because the red, green, and blue are still there, and the sync signals are still there, but it's all as a digital stream instead of an analog stream. So, everyone, thanks for listening to me babble, and this turned out really nice. I think I'm going to name this the Konix Duo. And in case you wonder what Konix was, it was a failed game platform from the late 80s. It never really went anywhere, so I stole the name. So, everyone, thanks for watching.